Hi, in this session, we'll learn how do we create a line chart and the area chart in Tableau. Fine. A line chart is used to present the data over a period. So something like, this is the information which is used to present the data over a time period. It is used when there is a data type or date data type in the visualizations. That means, see, when I talk about a line chart is mainly used when you want to present some information over the time period. Okay, like I want to know how the sales are happening from a particular year to a particular year. Okay, so we use this particular thing. So that means the minimum requirement for this particular line chart is we should have at least one date field and one measurable value. Optionally, we can have a dimensions. Okay, so this line chart is mainly used to present trend analysis. So we use this particular line chart. Let us practically get into this particular line chart and we'll see how do we create this line chart. So we'll try to create a line chart something like this. So let me do it from the scratch. Okay. Now, first thing is I want to create a line chart. So what is that we do is if you want to change the background colors, you can just go to the format shading and we can just fill the color kind of thing. For the sheet, I can just say background is black or something. Cool. Now, as I said, if you want to create this line chart, so what I can suggest is for creating a chart, hit on this particular show me. There you can see we have a line chart over here. So as soon as you focus on the line chart, you can see here in the bottom, it just tells me telling that, okay, what kind of a chart you're creating. It's a continuous line chart. Okay. And then what is the requirement is it needs one date field and one measurable value. Dimension is optional. It can have 0 or more dimensional, but minimum requirement is one date and one measurable value. So what I will do is, so I'll just go to my data source. I'll select one measurable value and one date field. So date field are the field which has this calendar icon. So there is a date data type. I'll just select the order date and the sales. I need to hold down the control key to select. That is, I have selected one date field and have selected one, what is in the measurable value sales. And then we have actually two types of line charts are there, continuous and the discrete. We'll try to understand what is discrete. So first we'll see with the continuous line chart. So as soon as you click on this particular line chart, so you can see a line chart is being created here. So which generally says, okay, how the sales have happened in 2018 and 2019. So you can see 2018, sales was almost close to 5 lakhs. But in 2019, you can see there is a kind of a slight downfall in the sales. But 2020, it performed really good. It has crossed more than 6 lakhs, 6.1 lakhs. And you can see in 2021, it has exceeded, it has gone to 7.33 lakhs. So that means we see that, okay, sales are growing every year on year. But only thing was 2019 was not a good year. Okay, there was a slightly dip in the sales. Fine. So we can remove this particular axis line. If you want to do that, I can just go to the format again. It's lines. And in the rows, I can just say grid lines. I can just say none. So it is a plain line. So now what I can do is, okay, this is showing the year-wise analysis. Okay, so 2018 to 19 and things. Now within the year, date has a built-in hierarchy. Okay, so the top level of the date is the year. Year has a collection of quarter, and each quarter has a collection of month. I want to drill, I want to see the quarterly wise sales, monthly wise sales, how it is happening. So you can see in this particular date field, you can see there is a small box plus sign here. So that means there is more options, drill options. When you hit on this, you can see this automatically goes to the quarter. So when I say it goes to the quarter, so we see that, so what exactly is happening here is, this is the sales of 2018. Okay. Yeah, I can say this is the sales of 2018. This is the Q1 sale, Q2 sales, Q3 sales, and Q4 sales. Q4 of 2018. So we see that Q1 was very low. There was a progress for Q2, but Q3 was done very good, and Q4 has done extremely very good. Okay, and the same story we see that were here also in the 2019. This is a Q1, Q2, or Q3, Q3 year and Q4 year. So we see that 1 is always low, 2 is slightly increased, 3 is further increased, 4 is the tip. So we can see the same thing here also in 2020 also Q1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is good. And the same thing we also see in this particular 2020 also. Q1, 2, 3, and 4. So what we understand is in every year, first quarter is kind of a low sales. Okay. So it's a US data. I think generally have this particular kind of off season, sorry, what I say, year ending is like a lot of holidays, the festival time. Okay. People spend a lot of thing in the business, sorry, shopping and all this thing. So that is the time where we are having a good business. But when the year starts, people are busy with the projects, new assignments and things. So they don't show more interest in the shopping. So we see that always, the first quarter and second quarter is generally a very low, and third and fourth quarter is a high. And especially the Q4 is generally a very high in every year. That is what is the analysis we are able to get it. Okay. So now, further if I drill this, so if I further drill this particular chart, so what is that I do? Instead of quarter, I just go with the month wise. So you can see it is showing the month wise how the sales are happening. So we are able to see. So that means this is 29, that is 2018, January, February, March. You can see March, there is a kind of a peak. January, February low, March sudden peak, April, May, June is kind of a low kind of thing. Then again, September, October is low. September, November, December, you can see there is a high. And the same thing we see here, January, February is low. Okay, March sudden there is a peak. And then April, May, June is fine. But year ending, you can see is November and December is high. So the same thing we see that year endings are high, year starts are low. So that is what we understand is, so what we are able to understand from this one is, we are able to see that February is generally a low sales. January, February is a low sales. And every month we see that for February have done a very low sales. So that means you as a business analyst, when you're planning, when you're discussing with a manager, we can say, okay, January and February, the sales are low. So that means there is no point in doing the promotions that time because, people don't show interest in the shopping. Okay, thing. So that is like a thing. But year ending, we see generally there is a kind of a big peak. Okay. And that is a time where people show more interest in shopping. So that is a time your promotions can work out, your marketing activities and all these things can work out. So those particular analysis we are able to get with the help of this. Now I can further go ahead with this particular data and I can go with what you say, this is a month-wise analysis. So further, when I say day-wise analysis, week-wise analysis, and the day-wise analysis, you can go for it. So you can see on a particular, generally on an everyday basis, this is 5,000, this is 0. So this is around 2,000 is the kind of average sales we get every day on day. But there was one particular day, it was very extremely high. So on that day, might be some big customer had come and we have a very big sale on a single day of it's 28,000. But you can see generally it is 1,600, 1,200. This is a kind of a sales what we are seeing every day on day. And there you can see there was a peak on a particular days. Okay, so we are able to see that. Fine. So we'll just go back to our year wise. Fine, clear with this chart. So now next is, see, I can even add a dimension to this. I can add a dimension to this. So now, why do I add a dimension? So we have seen that 2018 to 2019 was not a good year, but 20 was good, 21 was very good. But why exactly it fell down? I want to do this analysis. I want to see the region-wise, how much contribution they have done. So what I will do here is, I'll just add a legend. So what I do, I'll just select the region. I'll just double click on the region. So you can see it gets added to the color. The color is the legends here. So we see that what we understand from this one is this color is what West region. So we see that West region, how it has been performing the sales here. So West region had done a very good sales in 2018. That is almost 1.5 lakhs. And we can see then we had a East region and then we had a South, and the Central region is a kind of in the third place. But we see that the West region, there was a slightly a downfall in the sales from 18 to 19. And the Central region, it's a kind of a stagnant sale. But East region, even though the things was not good, but we can see it has performed a very good sales. Okay, it has taken care of this. So that means, so this was in the second place, it jumped to the first place, and this from the first place, it jumped to the second place. Fine. But the major reason why the downfall of the sales happened in 2018, we can see that is South region. So you can see in 2018, it had done a sales of more than 1 lakh, 1,03,000, 1,04,000. And when you see in 2019, it ended up only 71,000. So that means 32 to due to 33,000 lower sales. That means 35% dip in the sales from the South region alone. And they can say that was the main reason why there was a downfall in the sales in 2019. Okay. And when we analyze it here, so South region, okay, it started good, okay, but did not maintain it. So it went to the fourth place first year itself, and it has been written in the bottom itself. You can see it's always performing like, below 1 lakh. Okay, so it is 1,22,000, here it is 93,000, this is 71,000, and so on. And we see that very prominent is the West region. Even though there was a slightly dip in 2019, but we can see a kind of a progress, a sharp progress is there in 20 and 21. You can see in 20, it has retained the first place with a marginal difference from the East region, but 21, it retained the first place with a big margin with the East region. Okay, and we see that central region is like a stagnant sale, what is happening, so not very great and things, but the main concern is the South region not performing. Okay, so every year on year we see that is underperformed. That is what we are able to analyze. So when you drill this again, so we can see, okay, South region was very good in the quarter 1, extremely very good in quarter 1. Quarter 2, it fell down. It came to the competition, but quarter 3, it went down, and it is retained in the bottom itself. You can see always in the bottom. But we see that East region and all these things, so they're always performing good. But you see that this 1 year, what happens, the quarter 1, all the regions are not doing good. So that means, that is a kind of the people like, January, when it starts. So it's kind of more they get into look into the new projects. They are more busy with official work and so on. So it might be like, that is the reason they're not showing the interest there. But we can see in every this one is Q4 has been performing good. Okay. But South region is something like, a kind of a slight increase in Q4, but very far behind in the competitions. So that is what we are able to analyze it from here. Okay, fine. So now we do also have what do you call it as, this is your continuous line chart. So then in the case of continuous line chart, what happens is, so when you drill, so let us go with the individual itself. So it goes continuous, it is year wise, then it shows quarterly wise within each year, Q1, 2, 3, 4, then again 2019 Q1, 2, 3, 4, it is showing us the continuous. When I go again month wise, so we can see is this is 2018 Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June. So 2019 January, February, you can see the lowest sales and so on. Now, what I want is, instead of having a continuous value, I want accumulated values. Hey, I want to know month-on-month sales or quarter-1 quarter sales, how it has been performed. Total January sales of all the 4 years, February sales of all the 4 years, cumulated values. So in that case, so what is that I will do is, I will just change this to the discrete value. I'll just say, this is the continuous, I'll just change it to discrete. Okay. So when I go to the discrete, okay, I'll just remove the year. I'll remove the, let us go with the quarter here. So we can see here is, so, or let me show it once again to you. So I'll just take the same thing, sales with the order date. So for the line chart, I'll just take what you call it as a discrete line. So you can see the differences, it is short, and we can see discrete, they are dimensions, they're in blue color here. Okay, I can just make it as a white screen, entire screen is cool. So it looks almost the same when you compare to the previous one and this one. Now the thing comes here is when I just drill this. So if I go to the quarter, you can see this is showing me the quarterly sales. Okay, and it is divided based on the year wise. It is divided based on the year wise. It is being divided. Now what I want is, I don't want to see this particular dividing based on the year one. I want a cumulative. So I'll just remove the year. And you can see this is showing the overall Q1 sale, Q2 sale, Q3 and 4. So Q1 was just below 4 lakhs. Q2 is like, above 4, almost close to 4.5 lakhs. Q3 is above 6 lakhs. And this is like, almost 9 lakhs is the Q4. Now, when I further drill this, okay, I'll go to the month wise. So when I go to the month wise, we have seen that January, the cumulated values of all the 4 years is 94,000. And February of all the 4 years, it has been given me only 59,000. So when you see we have 4 years, that is just around 15,000 is every month. February has been done the sales. That is what is the cumulative value also. And we see that every year there was a raise in the March. So we see the overall vacancy of March has done. So this was just 59,000 in the month of February. March has done 2 lakhs. Okay, that is like, 4 folds higher sales than what generally February performs. But again, April, May, June, July is not August, till August is not a kind of a average kind of a thing. Okay, not very low sales, not very high. But after August, September onwards, we see there is a kind of a peak. September, November, and December. So this is what is a discrete value. So you get, so in the case of discrete value, you can get accumulated values. Okay, this is the main thing of going for the line chart. Okay, so next is, yeah, this was about, hey, we can also add a trend line for this particular thing. So let us see how do we go for the trend line analysis. So if I have to go with this particular trend line analysis, okay, so let me go with the normal, this one. So I'll just take the sales for the order date. I'll just take this continuous line chart and I'll just drill this to the quarterly or monthly, okay, how the sales are happening. So we see that month on month, how the sales are happening for each year, we are able to see the information. But we see that 2018, the spikes are here. 2019, the spikes are low. 2020, you can see there is a kind of slight increase. 2021, you can see there is a kind of spikes are been much higher. So I want to see the kind of a trend from 18 to 21. That is this 4 years, how it is happening. So I'll get into the analytics here. So there is something called as a trend line. You can see the trend line. I'll just select the trend line. I say I want a linear trend line. So it just shows me so how the trend line is happening. So that was compared to 2018 to 2021, there is a kind of a progress, okay, which is happening. Okay, every year on year, we see that overall, like, in this 4 years, we have seen a very good progress. Okay, that is what we are able to analyze it. Fine. Okay, so next is we'll see with the area chart. See, generally when I talk about the area chart, so what is the area chart? Area chart is nothing but is a filled line chart. Okay, so area chart is nothing but a filled line chart. Okay, area chart is also called as a filled line chart. Okay, or line chart with the filled. Okay, used to present the data over a date. So same like your this one line chart. But here what happens is, when you add a second dimension to the line chart, there was a competition which has performed good, which has performed like, ranking we could see. But here what happens, you get a stacking. Stacking is what we are able to see, like, the overall sales, how it has happened and how much contribution is done by the each region. So we are able to analyze this particular data in this one. So we'll just get into practically and we'll have a look at it. Okay, so we'll just go for, so let us create the area chart. So again, it goes the same thing. So just go to the show me. What is needed for this is we need at least one date field and we need one measurable value. So that is what is needed if you're creating this particular area chart. So I'll just take this particular date field, order date, measurable value, I'll take the sales. Fine. And I'll go to this particular area chart. Okay, so here also we have a continuous and we also have a discrete to get the cumulative values and the continuous values. Fine. So we see that, okay, it's exactly like a line chart. So when you see the line chart and this is almost the same. Okay, only thing is this is the filled area. Okay, so this also has a drop option, drill options. We are able to see the quarterly wise, month wise analysis, how it is happening. So we can go for those things. Okay, so let me go back to the year. Now, if I add a dimension here, so when I add a dimension, that is, I'll take a region here. I'll take the region into the colors. I'll double click on the region. So as soon as you add a dimension, so we can see that instead of showing as a competition, it is just having a stack here. So we see that, okay, the overall, okay, we see that, the performance has fallen down in 2019, and we see the reason for that is, okay, so there is a downfall in the south regions. There is a decline of sales in the south region, and we see that west region, yeah, there is an incline in the sales, but mainly we see that east region has performed really good, even though there was a downfall in the sales, but east has done very good. So compared to this and this, you can see the thickness sales, what is the measurable value. And you can see the west region has shown a kind of a continuous growth, but at the same time we see that this has the west region has shown a very progressive growth. So east and west are something like, they are always in the competition in the top big, this one, but south is something like, which is kind of a low sales. That is what we are able to analyze it. Okay, so we can just drill this and we see how quarterly wise or monthly wise, how they have been performing. Okay, so this is what is the area chart. So where we get a stack option here. So as usual, so we can also add a trend line analysis for this. Okay, and things, okay, is what it is. Fine. So that is about your line chart and the area charts. Thank you.